Good morning, everybody. How you doing today? I hope you had a great weekend, and you have no idea how happy I am, how content my OCD is this morning that we're able to finish the book of Ephesians on a Saturday and come into the first of the week and start a new book on Monday. That just makes everything in me just happy to be able to do that. And I'm happy to be able to tell you we're going to move into the book of Philippians, a happy book, a book about joy, and a book about thanksgiving. And Paul is writing to the church at Philippi, and today that's what we're going to do today. By the way, we're just going to take a little introduction to the book of Philippians, not actually dig into any of the text, but just set the framework for where we will be going over the next few weeks as we look at this little book. And again, it's written to the church at Philippi for the main purpose of thanking them for a gift that they had sent to Paul. And so Paul is going to be sharing his thanks for that. There is no real question about Paul's authorship of the letter. I'm certain there's probably somebody out there that would question it, but there's no real question. That Paul wrote the letter. There are a number of people, a number of other sources that recognize Paul's authorship. At one point, Clement of Rome wrote and mentioned, he wrote a letter to the Corinthians and actually mentioned Paul's letter to the Philippians. Great church father Polycarp also mentions Paul's letter to the Philippians. Ignatius, another early church leader, refers to the book. Again, there's a number of old original church fathers that are or writers, authors that mention the book of mention Paul writing to the Philippians. So there's no real genuine question that holds any water whatsoever to question Paul's writing. We're pretty certain of the date. It would have been written somewhere around 60 AD, give or take 2 or 3 years, probably somewhere between 60 and 63 AD, which is generally the range. At that time, Paul would have, curious thing about a book on joy and thanksgiving, Paul would have been writing this letter from prison. And so it is one of Paul's, what we call the prison epistles, along with Ephesians that we just came through, then Colossians and Philemon were all are all in that group of prison epistles. Again, he mentions in chapter 1 and chapter 4 both. Paul mentions here some reference to his situation, and so it is again written a book of joy and thanksgiving, written from prison. So that really gives the idea of joy some real credibility. You can't say that Paul didn't know what he was talking about. He knew what it was to suffer. He wrote it. We see it opens up in verse 1 and tells us who it is to. It is to all the saints who are in Philippi, to the bishops, to the deacons, to the leaders, and then ultimately God has seen fit to preserve this letter for not just the saints at Philippi, but for all believers, the church throughout time. Several reasons, the purpose behind the letter, what Paul again was writing, and I already talked about joy, that one of the main themes here is joy. He was wanting to he was seeking to eliminate any criticism that Epaphroditus may be receiving. Epaphroditus had been sent from Philippi to give a message to Paul, to give this gift to Paul. But Epaphroditus had become very sick, had almost died, and he had not went back to Philippi for a while, and so there apparently maybe was some criticism, some concern that he didn't actually go to Paul or anything, and so Paul is just writing to let him know what had went on with Epaphroditus. That Epaphroditus had in fact carried out his mission. Then again, to thank them for their support and help to his ministry, and then also to encourage them to continue to be unified. And as one of Paul's common topics, he also deals briefly with false teaching. And so that was his audience. Again, those in Philippi. Philippi was a very important city. It was a gateway into Europe. It was on the main highway known as the Egyptian Way. It was named after Philip of Macedonia, and so who had been the father of Alexander the Great. So it was a very important city, which would have made the church there a very key piece of the Christian movement, and so this was a very important situation that Paul was writing into. And again, one of the main things that he is stressing is unity in the church. There does appear, and we'll see that eventually as we go through the letter, there does appear to be a little bit of division. Maybe there were a couple of ladies there that were stirring up a little bit of trouble in the church at Philippi. And so that's what we'll begin. We'll start in verse 1 tomorrow. If you want to go ahead and get a start reading the letter, I believe it'll bless you. And look forward to going through the letter to the Philippians with you beginning tomorrow. Have a good day, and we'll see you here tomorrow morning.